I'm Dom,
And I'm Al.
and you're watching the Resilient Shift podcast. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back for episode 4. We got an awesome episode planned for you guys with a special guest. Just wanted to take a second, though, show you guys the new Resilient Shift merch available on the Better Days Company website. We got the heavyweight hoodie, super fuzzy on the inside, a little oversized. Same thing with the sweatpants. Got the Better Days logo right above the pocket. All right. So this is available now. Head over to the Better Days website at www.betterdayscompany Long Island and get yourself some new Resilient Shift merch. Let's get right into it. And we hope you enjoy this episode with Jonny Lazarus. All right, host of the Daily Faceoff on NHL.
We're super excited to have him on. He is our first guest, so such an honor for him to join us. And thank you, Jonny, for taking the time to talk to us. And just like Dom said, we really encourage you to go get that merch. I went with the crew neck instead of the sweatshirt, but it is so comfy, and I got the matching sweatpants with our logo. And they are so comfy. I put them on after my run today, and they just are so cozy, so comfy. Highly recommend them. And like I said, thank you again, Jonny, and we can't wait for you guys to hear what we all have to say.
Go USA. Is that weird?
No.
What's up, Jonny? How we doing?
What's up, Tom, Al? Nice to be here with you. You guys look so professional on the couch over there. I feel a little guilty with my bed in the background over here.
Yeah, I like those jerseys you got up behind you, though. We got to get ourselves some of those.
Yeah, thank you. This is actually a new one. There's the Fighting Wiener Dogs. I was out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota
Yeah?
this weekend for Wiener Dog Night. It was like the cutest thing I've ever seen. They have wiener dog races in between periods, and like the whole town like goes nuts for it. It's crazy.
Like on the ice?
Yeah, legit on the ice. One of them actually took a crap on the ice, and I had to clean it up. So that was a new experience for me, but it was awesome. Honestly, that's probably why my voice is like a little shot today.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you are actually the first guest in the Resilient Shift, so super happy to have you.
All right. Well, hopefully it's encouraging for more guests.
Yeah, right? No, that's the plan. I'm sure it will be. So what are you up to now? Like, I know you're pretty heavily involved with the BNR Open Ice, Daily Face-Off, NHL, that kind of thing. So, I know you have your hands in a lot of different pots as far as the hockey space and creation. So if you could let, our listeners know what you're about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy who kind of never says no to anything, and as I get older, it's starting to wear on me a little bit. My girlfriend gives me a lot of crap. She tells me I got to get better at saying no to people, but I've always been kind of a people pleaser, I feel like, and that's how I've carried myself through my professional life. But I feel so lucky to do anything that I possibly can in the game of hockey, whether that's working in junior hockey, college hockey, the NHL obviously is the dream for everybody. But I'm very fortunate that I could interview players in the USHL and then like follow their careers as they get to college. And then, when they get to the NHL, it's like having a friend already. So it's been really cool. So I do like, my day to day is pretty much doing a morning show for Daily Faceoff called Morning Cup of Hockey. Then I do like a Ranger Islander Devil podcast twice a week called Tri-State Hockey. And then, I'm at every Ranger home game as a digital reporter. So I'm interviewing guys after the game, getting clips and whatnot. And then weekends are really dedicated to like college hockey and the USHL. So I'm like traveling either to Princeton or UMass for one of those broadcasts or whatever city the USHL sends me. So I'm definitely all over the place, but my home base is New York City. That's where I am right now. And my whole life is hockey basically. So that's me.
Yeah, man, I love to hear it. I would love to be in your position one day. And I just want to let everybody know, especially if you're a Ranger fan, if you see clips online of a player interview, chances are it's probably Jonny behind the mic.
I don't think anyone's going to find those right now with how bad it's been, but yeah. Typically, well, there's a lot of, great media reporters with the Rangers, but I am definitely consistently posting like video, whereas most other reporters are mostly written. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Love the hat. So you got the Better Day hat on.
Got the hood on too.
Oh yeah.
Hoodie on.
There we go. Love it. Just dropped the podcast merch as well. So, we're out here trying to grow the best way we can. I've definitely taken some pages out of your playbook as far as content. And, it's been super helpful for me trying to navigate this this whole content journey with putting yourself out there and trying to grow.
That's the best advice I give to anyone. Just put yourself out there and you never know what could happen. I mean, having a podcast is like the perfect reason just to reach out to people. That's kind
Yeah.
of what I learned when I started. Obviously, I think a lot of young kids reach out for job advice or, just career advice, whatever it may be, like on LinkedIn and stuff. But if you have your own show and you want to hear people's stories, it's just like a great thing that like opens a door.
Yeah.
So I love what you guys are doing. I think it's awesome. And you're going to learn so much about yourself and so much about other people like in this journey. And it's an honor to be the first person that you're having on here.
Thank you, man. As far as kind of mindset goes, like, did you ever see yourself in kind of the content creation space as far as hockey goes?
It's honestly so funny. Like, I guess not even. Maybe it is funny. I don't know. The word content, like I never heard that word until
Yeah.
like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe. But when I started, I was just working in like the media department in college at UMass my sophomore year in like 2018. So this is before like social media became what it is now. Like social media was at the time, it was like, posting TBTs on Instagram and like,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
writing on each other's Facebook walls. Like it wasn't, Gary Vee puts it well now. Like we live in like an interest media world where it's not
Yeah.
like people just posting about their lives. It's like people posting what they do and what they're interested in. Um, so at the time, like I couldn't have imagined this even being a job, you know? For me, all I wanted to do was just like talk hockey. I wanted to get into media and broadcasting and kind of within that and learning how to get there, you almost had to post on social media and put yourself out there, especially someone like me who never played professionally. Like, I knew the journey would be a little bit harder if you played in the NHL. Like the opportunities open up way easier than they do if you hadn't played in the NHL. But the advantage I have is that like I was a young voice at the time. Hockey had always been like this, older sport or sport that had older people covering it. And when I decided to hang out my skates after my senior year because COVID hit, like, I didn't really have much of a choice, but my ceiling wasn't very high anyway. Um, I took it as like an opportunity to put myself out there like you're doing now and see what could happen if I just start talking about hockey. And, luckily for me, like I always hate saying this and I hesitate to say it, but like COVID was the best thing that could have happened for me career wise because it gave me, not only me, but it gave everyone so much free time. So,
Yeah.
I was getting the chance to interview people because no one else had anything better to do, So, um, I don't know if the world had been normal this whole time. I don't know where my life would have been, but just, it all started with putting myself out there on social media, honestly. And I would have never expected that when I was a kid. If I said my dream was to work in hockey, that it'd have to be through Instagram and Twitter. That just wasn't a thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was the hardest part about putting yourself out there?
Being called an idiot a lot. I think you kind of want everyone to like you when you start, and especially me. Like I'm a sensitive. Like I'm definitely more of a sensitive person. I think. Like I don't really like confrontation, to be honest. But and that was honestly a huge reason why my hockey career went the way it did. I just like wasn't mean, but as you like kind of, I guess, grow a following maybe, and your voice starts to get heard by people, you're gonna hear some haters. And like when I first got like, people were sending like negative tweets about me. Like my friends like saw tweets about me that, they were saying to me like like the first one I'll never forget. It was like Jonny Lazarus is insufferable. I can't stand that kid. And I was like, what the
Oh.
hell? Like, I'm just talking about hockey,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? But I get it. Like I totally get it now. Like I was at the time, I was like 25, 26 years old, kind of just like, for lack of a better term, like drunk on doing this.
Yeah.
I was just so excited to be doing this. And I definitely was like in a lot of people's faces. And that comment like really bothered me at the time. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't, because I wanted everyone to like me. Who doesn't want to be liked by people?
Absolutely.
But now that I've gotten older and I've just, I'm turning 30 next month and I've gotten more comfortable within myself and the things that I say. If someone doesn't like me, I don't give a shit. Like I'm not going to change for anyone. Where I feel like I was more on the fence about opinions when I was younger, because I wanted to be like, oh, well, this guy's doing that. But on the other hand, like this guy, like I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But now it's like, you just got to say what you feel. And if people don't like it, then you're not for everyone, So I've learned how to deal with that. But at the start, it was like really tough to see mean things about you when, in your mind, it's like, I'm just talking about a sport, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still find yourself now like looking through the comments or trying to see if people give you negative feedback?
I look through every single comment, every single one. And while people have always told me to ignore it, I take it as like, it's not like I'm looking for bad things. I want to know what people are saying. I want like the people who engage with what I do, I want to know what they think because they're the people that are like the reason why I have a job, So um I always said like if someone follows me or engages with the stuff that I do, I will make time for that person. Like that's just kind of where I'm at. And it could be negative, it could be like whatever the comment would be, but I want to know if someone's taking time out of their day to literally write their opinion on something that I put out there. I want to know what they have to say. Or else it's just like, who am I talking to? You know?
Yeah, of course. And have you ever like changed the way you do things because of a negative or positive comment, like adjusted your method or the way you ask questions?
I think there are times where I know when to, I guess, press. Like obviously it's mostly Ranger fans that I engage with, I would say. Uh, and like at games, I'm asking the coach questions in the press conference after a game, and I kind of see what fans are saying and what they, are essentially. I have fans that like tweet at me, "Can you ask this?" And sometimes I will actually listen and like ask a question if I see a lot of people like having a similar opinion. I'm like, all right, like this is what the fans want to know. I'll ask it. Like that's kind of my job, right? It's not just about what I think. So yeah, like I definitely do cater to that sometimes, not always, but if I'm seeing what fans are seeing and saying and I agree with them, yeah, I will definitely change what I was going to go into something with to cater it to what the, majority of people would want to hear. Otherwise, it's just like what's the point if I'm just going to ignore how fans feel?
Mhm. Of course. Has it been hard to work with the Rangers recently since they've not been doing well?
Oh my god, it's been miserable. Like it's honestly that's I think it's funny. I actually had like a total not like panic attack, but I crashed out the other night. I've been on the road for like 6 weeks. Um, I haven't really had a week in New York in quite some time since like the Winter Classic. I just been traveling a lot for work, and honestly, like a big part of what I do is like it's what I love. So it's not just a job for me. I invest my emotion like in this. And, when the team's not doing well, when I have to go into the locker room and like ask negative questions, when I'm only hearing negative feedback, you're kind of just dealing with negativity every day. And, while most people can push that to the side and ignore it, it's like, no, this is like what I'm wrapped in emotionally. Like it's going to affect me for sure. Like a 2024 season was the best year ever because the Rangers were like the number one team in the league. I was following them to the playoffs and everyone was just so excited. And I was literally on cloud nine. And now it's like the total opposite feeling. It's like,
Mhm.
we are screwed. What's
Mhm.
happening? This sucks. That's what I'm hearing every day. So, um, yeah, like I think, again, like I've gotten advice from so many people of like, you have to separate the fan from the job and whatnot. And I don't I just think this is what makes me me, and that's why I'll never I think you have to stay a fan if you wanna be relatable.
Yeah. I think, I like to connect that in the way that, like, I'm sure you may be different from other kind of analysts or reporters. And I think it's actually might be an advantage to you that you're also such, a fan of what it is that you're doing in a city you're doing with a team that you love, right?
Mhm.
Who is the toughest Ranger coach you've had an interview? Because you've probably been through a little bit of a tenure at this point.
I barely spoke to Gallant. Like, when I first started the job, it was that 2023 playoff series, like, I think my
Yeah.
first game was, like, 2 games left in the season, so I didn't get much with Gallant. I think Laviolette and I built a really good rapport, honestly.
Okay.
Like, I could tell that he knew that I knew hockey, so he always took the time to answer my questions. Sullivan, I think, has started to get that with me as well. But it's funny, I always wonder if they know my name. Like, I don't think they know my name, but they definitely know my face. Um, but I haven't had, like, any issues, excuse me, with a coach, because I don't try to be disrespectful. I'm not, like,
Yeah.
necessarily digging for things, um, but there are times where you just have to ask certain questions that, people don't want to answer, but you just got to do. They know you're doing your job.
Yeah, and just from watching your clips, I feel like your approach is really rooted in kind of your experiences of as a player, and like you said,
Mhm.
just in hockey, where again, I feel like it's a huge advantage to you to maybe some other reporters that might be in the space that don't have the experience that you had of playing at Amherst and that kind of thing.
But everyone's got to do, what their strengths are, right? Like,
Sure.
I am not the strongest writer. So I was doing written stories in the past and they weren't really getting many clicks or anything. And that just wasn't my strong suit. I think kind of bringing people into the room has been what I've been good at. But, our media like circuit, I guess the people that cover the Rangers do an incredible job. I mean, like, Vince, Molly, Colin, Dan Rosen, Remy, like there are so many smart people that are all different in their own way.
Yeah.
Peter's another one who came on a couple of years ago. He's great. And I learned a lot from Arthur Staple. He's not there anymore. Larry Brooks obviously, taught me a lot before he
Wow.
passed. Um, but everyone's voice is very different, which I like, and everyone's questions are different, which I like. And it's rare that I feel like someone takes my question, and I feel like it's rare that I take one of their questions. I think that's like a good balance to work with.
How has it been for you working with all the trade rumors and like the team falling apart a little bit?
Yeah, it's been you're kind of learning who you should trust when you hear rumors, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, I heard so I'm not looking to be like someone who breaks news necessarily, but if I hear
Yeah.
something, I'll check in on it, right? Like
Yeah. Yep.
especially if it's the Rangers really. Like if I hear something about another team, I'm not like in a rush to like put that out there because it's not like my like necessarily concern. Like I'll comment on it, but it's not like I don't feel a need to like provide for other fan bases like I feel for Ranger fans. Um, but I'll never forget. Like I heard the return for the Truba trade last year, like that it was Vakanainen and a pick, and it was from someone I really trust. So I put it out there, and I'll tell you, like putting that out there and like waiting 3-4 minutes for like someone to actually confirm it. Like I trusted my quote
Yeah.
unquote source and whatnot. But I was sweating until, I saw like Elliot or Frank Saravalli or, Pierre LeBrun tweeted out there and I was like shaking. I would never want that feeling ever again. So I'm definitely a little hesitant to like put stuff out there when it comes to trade rumors and stuff. Cause it is, if you are not right, you get flamed online. So that is not what I'm looking to do.
Yeah. As I don't know if you know, but I'm a huge Ranger fan. Al is also a huge Ranger fan. And
Mhm.
I was really not taken back, but when that letter came out and I saw the word retool on that letter,
Yeah.
like that to me just like screamed Mickey Mouse, like franchise to me. How did you feel about, because I've never heard that before in the sports world, like ever.
Really? Retool? You've never heard that before?
Not, no, I haven't. Not,
Um,
not like in that kind of scenario.
Yeah, with hockey, I feel like it's become more popular in recent years. But when I first saw the letter, I had no idea that was going to happen. I didn't know it was coming out. But I was actually on a plane, literally about to take off to California. So it was like a 5.5 hour flight, and the Wi-Fi was not very strong on that Delta flight. So like I had 5 hours to process what I thought of that letter, without seeing the reaction. Like I couldn't see what anyone was saying about it. So for me, like originally, I just thought it was like a little pointless and delayed and late. Like they're talking about retooling the organization. They've already traded away Truba, they traded away Kako, they traded away Hedel, Lindgren, Kreider. Like you've been doing this for a year already. Like there's no need to put it out there now. But with that said, like, and this is what took me, I guess, time to come to terms with. Like that was what I thought before, like the flight and whatnot. And then after, seeing reactions and whatnot and going to the games, I was like, okay, the letter was good because now it takes the emotion out of the season. It's like if they go into a game and lose, who cares? If, like where every game they lost, I was like, oh man, like if they can just put 3 wins together, they're right back in the playoff race,
Yeah.
but now the expectation has shifted and like the emotion is just like, I don't know how you both feel, but for me, it's just gone, like totally gone. And that's honestly the first time I really felt this way about a Rangers team that I can remember in my lifetime where like, I'll go into a game and it does not matter to me if they win or lose. Like I have no emotional connection to each game. It's just kind of like whatever at this point. And they got a lot of things to figure out this summer to make me buy back in, I guess, for next season. But I'm totally checked out as far as like being a fan goes, not as far as my job. Just want to make that clear. Totally checked out as far as believing in this team this year.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think
Al, I
it's
know you have some strong opinions. How do you feel about it? Why don't you let Johnny know?
so I'm probably one of the biggest Ranger fans there are.
Mhm.
Comment on every single post. I actually got
Okay.
banned for a little bit because I was commenting too much on all the
Banned
Ranger.
on what?
She got like shadow banned like
Mhm.
by Instagram.
No
I
way.
did. Yeah,
'Cause she,
every
yeah.
single post, I'd be the first one to comment. I like had the notifications on for them.
Oh my
Uh,
God, that's hilarious.
yes, and I was getting like 500 likes on
Yeah,
my
some of
comments.
your comments kind of blew up a
They
little
were
bit.
pretty good. It was my goal to have a Ranger player.
What was your best one?
What was my best one?
I don't know.
I think
She sticks with the play on words that involve like players'
yeah.
names.
So like Cooley, I'd be like that goal was as cool as ice, like super cheesy and kind of cringy, but the
Mhm.
fans loved it. Made me big, but really big fan. So my hope is still there, emotion's still there. Get upset after every game still, and I'm a really big Rempe fan. So Dom
Mhm.
disagrees with me on Rempe. So
Oh, we can get into this.
gotta know your opinion on Rempe because
I'm
I
a
like
Rempe
him.
guy.
You
I love
see,
Rempe. I love
yeah.
Rempe. I'm a Rempe
I
guy.
I think he brings energy and changes the dynamic of the team, and you need that type of player.
I couldn't agree more. And honestly, as a person, he's like a golden retriever. You know, like
Say.
I never
his
doubted that. I never doubted that about him.
his personality definitely does not match his like on ice persona. But I think the biggest thing with Sullivan this year too, which Laviolette didn't really do, like Pierre Laviolette didn't necessarily treat him as a hockey player. You know, like he threw him out there for like 5 or 6 minutes, like
Yeah.
you know, just to get a jolt of energy. Where Sullivan, you know, if you go back to earlier in the season, like that Edstrom Carrick Rempe line, they were
Yeah.
out. They were out on the ice in a tie game in the third period, like late in the game, because they were playing well. So I think if you keep feeding Rempe's confidence and if he keeps like growing a little bit as a player and developing more skill, like he's shown flashes of skill. You know, the bar isn't necessarily so high for him, but he's shown it. And I think he is certainly a valuable player. You know, if you need a guy who can just get a puck into the offensive zone, throw a big hit and get off. You know, I think analogy, honestly, and I'm going to pat myself on the back because I said this last year. Matt Rempe to me is kind of like Santa Claus or like was Santa Claus. Like not everyone or most people know that Santa isn't real, but you still believe in it, right? Like you still
Yeah.
believe that Santa
Okay.
is a thing,
like
even
it.
though
Like a
he's not
Bible.
real. So like with Matt Rempe, even if you don't think he's effective, it is still real. And like, you know what I mean?
I
But
like it. I'm gonna use that.
yeah, it's good.
Uh,
I love Rempe, and you know, I've gotten to know him a little bit, and he's just such a kind guy, always great with us, and you know, truly embraces playing in the NHL and playing in New York City, which I think this organization needs.
Yeah.
His recent injury seemed to hurt him a little bit. Did you get any
Yeah.
conversation at his thumb that he hurt?
I haven't talked to him about the injury, to be honest. So I can't even really answer that.
I have to make this clear. My gripe with actually I was at Rempe's first game at the Stadium Series
Mhm.
for that fight with Matt Martin. So that was electric, and I loved them after that. And then I started to have a problem with the fact that not only was his skating not great, but he was running the box like 2 minutes at least every game. And you know, I had a problem with him putting us man down when you only get 4 minutes of ice time a game.
Yeah.
That was
Hey, listen,
that was my
these are
gripe.
fair
Yeah.
criticisms. Fair.
And
Totally fair.
you know, since then, I do agree with you. I think, like you said, Sullivan is definitely developing him more as a hockey player, and I have seen flashes of, you know, what he could be at the height of his career. But at the beginning, I definitely was not on the Rempe train. Now I'm starting to come around a little bit.
Well, now it's just like kind of
Yeah,
totally past
I,
the point. There are way bigger problems than Matt Rempe on
I'm
this team.
I'm not on anyone's train right now, to be honest.
Yeah, it's tough. Very, very tough.
So since we spoke about hockey, I want to get into roller a little bit now.
Mhm.
Just for our viewers, I met Johnny at the Hockey's Hockey event, put on by Jim Tamburino. It's honestly one of my favorite hockey events of the year. Johnny played in the main event roller game. Uh, watched a lot of that. I was actually the coach on your bench with Chavo and those guys. You're a stud, man, even on the wheels. Like
Thanks.
how did you kind of get into roller?
I don't remember necessarily how I got into roller, but I do remember like I started out playing ice when I was in kindergarten, and then I like transitioned into roller for like 5 years. Like I was playing out in Skate Safe in Plainview, if you're
Yeah,
familiar with
yeah.
Skate Safe.
Yep.
So I grew up playing just like 8U, 10U, playing for the tour Roadrunners a little bit and travel. Um, and like I think a lot of my friends were playing roller, so that's probably why I did it. But then I kind of went back into ice hockey in 5th grade, and I still played a little roller, like on the side and whatnot. And I went to summer camp my whole life, so in the summers we play roller. And I always loved roller. Like I play a lot of roller now. Actually, I love
Yeah.
roller so
Yeah,
much
I saw
now.
a clip of you the other
It's
day, I think it's Skate Safe.
That was a Skate Safe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So roller to me is just like way more chill, and it's like a more skilled game, obviously. So like makes it a little bit more fun if you have the skill to play. Um, but yeah, roller to me is like kind of an underappreciated, I guess, part of the sport. Like there are a lot of guys I know now who, have played in the NHL that love playing roller. Like I think Zeev Boyum's a guy who loves ripping around on roller skates. I've seen clips of Connor Bedard playing roller. Obviously, Pat Maroon is a really good
Yeah,
roller
I
player, and
remember.
he's a good buddy of mine. But yeah, roller is awesome. I love roller.
His son lit it up with him this summer, right? In the
Yeah,
summer,
yeah, I saw
right?
that. Yeah, Anthony. That was
Um,
cool.
do you still kind of follow the pro roller game now? Because I know at least out on the island, like I'm, I love roller. I play a ton of
Mhm.
roller. I am nowhere good enough to be sharing the tile with some of the guys that I have been fortunate enough to skate with. But especially on Long Island, you got guys like PJ and Joey and Billy
Yeah.
Pascal. Like, do you still kind of follow the pro roller, world today?
I'm gonna be honest. I never really did. I didn't know. I still don't really know much about it. Because I've never really played pro roller.
Okay.
I was at the Wish Cup this year, and I played against guys like John and like Itan Chavera.
Yeah,
Those two
yeah.
guys, if you know them.
Eton's a pro guy, and then like even now, I feel like the landscape has gotten kind of mixed with like kind of these almost like creator players, like
Yeah,
also.
yeah. Like I like Nasher and like Hintzy, those guys, and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Brody True.
yeah,
Um, I would love to play in a pro roller like tournament though. I don't know if I'm good enough though. Like I've never played the pro roller games. So, like I don't know. Like those guys are. It's just such a like it's all possession, right? Like you can hang on to it for like
yeah.
3 minutes before you even
Yep.
shoot. Like I feel like I could fit in, but I don't know if I'd stand out in that. Playing against that guy John. I don't know his last name. I think that was like his nickname. He was the sickest roller player I've ever played against. Like I actually texted Pat Maroon. I was like, get this guy in the Lightning right now. He's so sick.
Yeah,
And then obviously Etan Chavera is like unreal.
yeah.
And Joey, I tell everyone like Joey DiMartino is the sickest roller hockey player I've ever seen in my life. Like, and no disrespect to PJ because PJ's nasty too,
I'd say the
but
same. You know
Joey,
what?
yeah,
They're totally
Joey's
kind of
insane.
different players, but yeah,
Joey's insane.
I have watched
Joey's like Quinn
Joe
Hughes.
a lot.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
literally Quinn Hughes.
yep, yep. He like especially now like out here on Long Island, they have the Thursday night league over at Rapid Fire. Uh, Shout out Al Demoro, Kamish. That league, like if you looked at like the names that are in this league from like the guys that
Mhm.
are just on the island, like you'd be like,
It's sick.
what is going on here?
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to get one of those games. I just don't know if I'm plugged enough.
I'm sure if you reached out to Joey, he might be able to help you out.
I don't really know him that well. We've never really like.
But yeah.
I don't think we've ever had like a real conversation. Like a PJ I've spoken to. I've played because Joey's much younger, right? I'm a '96, so
Yeah, Joey is actually just a little bit older than me, I think.
yeah, he must be 25. How
25,
old are
yeah.
you?
I'm 22.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're young. So you're what? 03, 04,
Yeah. Yep.
03? Yeah, damn. So I'm an unk.
What is one of your favorite memories from playing hockey, either ice or roller, that sticks with you?
Ooh. I mean, those Feasterville tournaments always stand out. Like, I don't remember it might have just been called Feasterville.
Yeah,
Is there a name? Is there a name?
yeah.
Like,
Feasterville was a. I don't think the rink's open anymore, but I
it's
played.
not.
My dad used to play there like way back in the day. They would go out of state for tournaments, for roller tournaments, and then I ended up playing like 2 college tournaments there with St. Joe's. But
Yeah.
I
That
think
place was
the
like
rink,
the
yeah,
place growing up. It was awesome. Like, I just remember sitting in the rink in my ear all day, like,
yeah,
messing around. Yeah, Feasterville was awesome. I mean, like, as far as roller hockey goes, that's probably like the most memories I have. Ice hockey, I mean, there's been countless. I mean, like, I could I guess my favorite one to like tell, I played against, and it was right after USA won the World Juniors with like McAvoy,
yeah,
Keller,
yeah.
Greenway,
Yep.
Ottinger, and they were all on that BU team. So like 2 days after they won the World Junior, we were playing against them, and I was like, "Holy shit, man! This team is loaded." Like, I was so intimidated by those guys, and like being at Fenway Park and having all my friends there, like that was the coolest thing ever. The game didn't go so great. We lost 5-3, and I think I was dash two, but the whole experience was unreal. I've been very lucky to have so many cool, different, like unique hockey experiences. One, I'll tell you a cool one, honestly, like a different one. But there's this like, I don't even know the name of the league. There's this league, like it's like a mountain league out in like Utah or out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Vail has a team that like invites beer league teams to come out and play and ski in those towns. So I've
Wow.
gone with like Dan and Chris Powers from the Empty Netters and guys who played at
Yeah,
Colby
yeah.
College, and I went to Jackson Hole and Vail with them, and it was unreal. Like, I don't ski, so I just chilled all day, but we played in front of crowds of like 2,000 people, and it felt like it was a college game. It was so cool, and it's just like these people who work normal jobs and then get together and play at night in front of a crowd, and it was like one of the sickest experiences I've had, honestly, playing in Vail. Vail was super cool. It was like the town gets like behind that team. It was sick. They're called the Vail Yeti. It was super cool.
That's awesome. What about, was there any hard moments for you, or like your biggest lesson you had to learn, biggest setback?
Oh yeah, I had plenty. So my sophomore year, I transferred from UMass to Mercyhurst, and that year I got scratched like I think 13 of the first 15 games. And for people listening that don't know like what being scratched is, like you're in a suit in the stands watching the game, like you're not on the bench or anything, or you don't feel like you're a part of it. Uh, that whole year, I came back sophomore year, felt super confident, was probably in the best shape of my life, like really dedicated myself to like nutrition and whatnot and being in the gym. And I had never really done that before. Like I was, I always thought I worked hard, but I didn't know like what hard work really was till I got to college. Like I saw guys who like really just put the time in and like knew what they were doing off the ice, like acted like pros away from the rink. And, I was never like that. And it wasn't like because I was against it. I think I was just like naive to it. It's my parents take some blame because they think they didn't push me, but like they didn't know any better either. Like we just didn't know. Um, so I always wonder what it would have been like had I, you know, done like the intense hockey route when I was a kid. Like I just played travel like double A, and then, I got better. So like as I got better, I learned more. But I just loved hockey. Like I never made it my life. I never like, woke up at 6 a.m. to go to the rink before school. So my sophomore year, I feel like all that just caught up to me a little bit. And, I was surrounded by guys who were now in the NHL, like, Cale Makar, that was his freshman year, and Mario Ferraro and Mitchell Chafee and John Leonard. This loaded freshman class that came in, and I was like, these guys are just a different level. They're so talented. Like it's one thing when you're scratched and you're like, oh man, like I should be playing over that guy. I should be playing over that guy. I was watching those games and I was like, these guys deserve to be in the lineup. There's no one that deserves to come out for me. And that was super hard to like come to terms with because, I was only a sophomore. I loved UMass. I loved the school. Hockey was eating away at me because all I wanted to do was play. And I felt like I was working my ass off every day in practice and then sitting in the stands on the weekends, like not being rewarded for any of my works. Um, I beat myself up a lot mentally that year. And then I transferred to a much smaller school, in Mercyhurst. I went from like a 30,000 student school to a college that was smaller than my high school. Growing up in Long Island, obviously, you both know, like we're around a lot of people, big things, big dreams. And, I was going to a small Catholic school as a Jewish kid from Long Island in Erie, Pennsylvania. Like, it was just a culture shock for me. And everyone there was so nice, but I just wanted more. I wanted bigger.
Yeah.
And I really struggled in that first year that I transferred, and just like seeing the same people every day, doing the same thing every day. Like, there was nothing really new and exciting for me. And, plus it was fucking freezing there. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
Ahead.
It was, you're cleaning off your car every day. Like, it is brutal to snow up there. So it was just a tough transition. It was kind of like one of those things, like, looking back at it now, I definitely acted emotionally and not critically. Like, I always wonder what it would have been like had I stayed and maybe give myself a better chance. But I fully quit on myself at UMass, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I'm just never going to play here again. Like, I got to get out of here. Um, it's something that I used to get emotional talking about. Now it's like, you grow up, you come to terms with it, and kind of realize everything happens for a reason. But yeah, that year was like super, super challenging for me.
Or if you could go back and give yourself advice during that time, like younger you, what would you say?
There's more to life than hockey. All I cared about and all I thought about was hockey. That's all I wanted. Like, I transferred to Mercyhurst, and I honestly, Alan and Dom, I couldn't tell you where the hell it was on a map. Like, I had no idea. Like, I just knew the coach. I loved the coach. He told me I'd have a chance to play, and that's all I needed to hear at the time. And
Yeah.
it's just like when you grow up thrusted in a sport, it's all you really know. And then suddenly it's like taken away. It's just like, man, what do I do? Um, so it was really tough. And I don't think hockey necessarily was my life when I was younger. Like, I was a social guy. I played basketball, played other sports. But then I want to say, like, my junior year of high school, it just became my life. Like, when I actually got good and I started to get college attention. And then, I just, it was everything. And now, I mean, it's my job, but it still is everything. That hasn't changed. But there is more to life than, I think a lot of kids who play at the collegiate level that probably won't make the NHL have that hard transition of learning that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely understand what you're saying, because growing up, I was a soccer guy. My mom, actually, it was my dad's choice at first. My mom was like, he's going to soccer, 3 years old. And I was good at it. I always kind of had that physical nature that kind of carried me later in hockey, but it worked really well in soccer because no one wanted to crack heads except for me. But you know,
What were
I
you, a
was playing.
sweeper or a stopper, whatever it's called?
No, I was a midfield.
Midfield. Okay.
Yeah, I was in midfield, so they kind of let me have free reign. But
Mhm.
that was my life, honestly. I was on track to go college D3 or above. That's where I felt like my life was heading, and then got diagnosed with the
Yeah.
brain tumors, then had to go into chemo. I only started playing roller hockey because my best buddy Andrew Vitale played roller hockey, and he
Mhm.
wanted me to play. And my dad was like, "Well, I got to keep his legs moving like during the off
Yeah.
season." That's kind of where I developed a love for hockey, and then just as that kind of love started to grow, is when I went into chemotherapy, and I didn't touch sports nor soccer. And I kind of had that realization that you had with hockey, with soccer too, where I just never was able to get back to the physical shape that I was in from chemo.
Yeah.
Um, and that kind of discouraged me from the sport, kind of like, you were saying.
Let
But
me
I,
ask you this though, if I can. What was like,
yeah,
just because I don't really know, like, I have a couple friends who played soccer, but like, if you are a soccer guy growing up, like, what is the dream? Is it playing like U.S. men's national team? Is it playing like, I don't know, like, obviously the
yeah.
MLS isn't like huge. So what do you grow up dreaming of as a soccer?
Um, to be honest with you, I never had a huge dream like that. I knew I liked
Uh-huh.
soccer. I knew I was good at it. My dreams, honestly, were always somewhat foreseeably attainable. Like, as a kid, I just wanted to be the guy. Like, I wanted to get pulled up to varsity when I was in 10th grade.
So you're
Like
realistic.
that.
Got
Yeah, that's where I was at. And then
it.
when I got up to varsity, I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to, I wanted to set the goal record or the assist
Yeah.
record or whatever it was. So my dream never, I guess, extended that far.
Mhm.
Before, other stuff got in the way with chemo. But I did grow up with a kid. His name is, you probably heard of him, Joe Scally. He plays on the men's national team now. Um, I
Honestly,
played with
I
him.
don't know anything about soccer, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's good to know that we have a
He
kid
grew
from Long
he grew
Island.
up Yeah, he grew up right here on the island. I played with him when I was like in like mites for soccer, a little bit as we got older, and then he, went on. He never went to college. He signed like his first like pro deal with NYCFC at like 18 years old.
Wow, that's
Yeah, and
sick.
now he's living over in Germany. He's playing there, and he's hitting the World Cup this year. So
That's
that's
unreal.
yeah. But kind of back to what I was saying about the hockey. I didn't touch hockey again until I was at a club fair for my college, and like I go to St. Joe's in Patchogue, which is like a small school, like nothing to do, like social life is absolutely garbage. And then I found, roller hockey. And that's kind of how I got back into it. And since then, it's been just we also got kind of messed up with COVID, but since
Yeah.
then it's been like beer league. My dad still plays. I play on his old man beer team with him, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what it's looked like since.
Do you happen to know the name Michael Catalano?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it sounds familiar, but I also feel like it's a common name. I'd probably know a face.
My cousin, he's out there. I don't know. Maybe you know him. He just turned 21, but
Is he a rapid fire guy?
no, he's not a hockey he's not a hockey soccer. He goes to St. Joe's too. So I was
What
wondering
does
if you knew.
what
He
does he
played
do?
basketball for a little bit. I don't think he's
Does
playing
he play
anymore
at
though.
St. Joe's?
No, he wanted to, but I
It
don't think it
sounds
worked
really
out.
familiar.
He's
It sounds
from Bohemia.
Yeah, that's
So it's
like
like out so
right
it's
out by
out
me.
there, yeah, so I just figured I might as well ask, but,
Yeah,
um, no, side topic. But no, that's
yeah.
cool. I mean, honestly, the fact that we have a Long Island guy in the World Cup team, that's sick. I'll be rooting for him. That's the only soccer I
Yep.
watch is the
I
World
actually I actually think there's two. The other kid I didn't know, but it's like a kid that like he grew up like playing with. I don't know if he's from Long Island, he's from Jersey. Yeah. Uh, it's cool. I always like to ask hockey guys this too whenever I talk to them. What is your stick specs? What's your
Cup.
go-to? What do you rock?
I'm not too picky. I just stick with like 87 flex, P92 curve, like the grip on the shaft. And I become a CCM stick guy. Like I used to always be like Bauer, but CCM sticks. I'm a big CCM stick guy. I love CCM sticks. Like I don't mind a Bauer one, obviously, but CCM sticks are the way to go for me.
Yeah.
You?
I honestly never, so I'm pretty standard too. I'm a P92. I do go down in the flex a little bit. I'll do like a 75, 77.
You like a whippy shot?
A little bit. I feel like I naturally don't generate that much whip
Mhm.
on like, my stick. The little less allows me to kind of get a good rip on it. But I never really had expensive sticks like ever.
Yeah.
Like I think in college I was using like Dick's like
You don't break
lumberjack,
sticks
like
playing roller.
yeah, like the CCM like tax. Like it was
Yeah.
disgusting. Tree trunks. But now I use the new Elite sticks. It's actually a guy right here on the island who started his own stick brand, and they're good sticks, man. They're pretty reasonably priced too, and I have two of them. I haven't broken one yet of his
That's
new
cool. Yeah.
bag. So
I haven't heard of that.
yeah, yeah. I just they're easy to get, and I can't. I'm playing beer league. I can't be spending more than $200 on a
Yeah.
stick.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
Yeah. Not to veer off your stick talk, but I want to go back. So we talked a little bit
Yeah.
about like hockey ending. I actually wrote my thesis about something similar about college athletes and identity loss after when your sport ends.
It's a real thing.
So, yeah, real thing, and it's crazy because there's not much help with it. Like there's so much research on it. I found so many articles on it, but there's not much help for athletes. Once you finish, it's kind of just like you got to figure it out now on your
Yeah.
own. And I think a lot of that is the stigma with mental health and like asking for help. So I actually just got my master's in social work because I was a college athlete and it's my
What'd you play
goal.
out?
I played lacrosse, soccer, and ran cross country.
Wow.
So
All in
yeah,
college?
all in college. My first year was soccer and lacrosse, and
Hmm.
then second year all the way through my master's was cross country and lacrosse.
So you're just like the
So
sickest athlete ever?
yeah, I try to be. And I didn't start playing lacrosse until college. but I like fell in love with it. And I went to St. Joe's too, so like super small, which allowed me to play all three. And then it was really hard for me when I graduated. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. Like I went from
Yeah.
season to season. So when I finished, I was like, what do I do with my free time now? I
Yeah.
think it's like a really hard thing to learn. And sometimes you just view yourself as an athlete and it's like you're more than that. But I think in the moment for you probably you're like, I'm a hockey player. What am I gonna do now? I work so hard for this. So what helped you push through that or kind of form your new identity?
Um, wow. Mm, First of all, very impressive that you did that,
Oh,
by the way,
thank
playing
you.
3 sports. Um, for me, like, I was doing, I guess, like, hockey content, quote unquote, on the
Mhm,
side, like, while I was looking for a job. Like, I just stayed involved
mhm,
any way I could. Like,
Yeah.
I was coaching kids in the summer. It wasn't my career though, so it was a little challenging, but, like, I did whatever I could to just stay in the game. Um, and I think sometimes maybe college athletes have that, like, part where, you wanna take, like, 3 or 4 months off when you're done because it's just been your whole life, and the freedom is kinda nice, and not having a schedule planned for you is a little freeing for a little bit. But then once you get past that, it's like, "Alright, I need some structure in my life." And, for me, I had the structure again, like, for COVID was a big adjustment. Obviously, graduating in COVID and not being able to find a job and just like having tons of free time was like both good and bad. My habit, I probably put on like 30 or 40 pounds. Like I was eating like a Division 1 athlete, but I was not training like one, so I was putting it on quick. And then, I think I just stuck with talking. Like once sports started back up, I was doing like a Rangers podcast just for fun, like, by myself. And um I guess what's the word I would use? I don't know, like forcing myself to pay attention, I guess, you know, just because I loved hockey and I missed it. But it, it 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 is so true that like you do lose yourself a little bit after you graduate, especially if it's something that you did your whole life. So I don't even know how to give advice to people. Like it's one of those things that everyone goes through and there's no real answer because the reality is like it is done. Like you're never
mhm,
going to be a legit athlete again. Like you can still play the sport, but it's not going to be your life. And
mhm,
if you could find a way to stay involved, great. If you totally like, I know people that want nothing to do with hockey and haven't touched their gear since their last game. And there are people that are like that, and that's totally fine. And they find a way to adjust. But for the people like me who just, didn't want to give it up, but like felt like you had to, it's just it's day by day. you
mhm,
know, day by day. But I definitely tried to do as much as I could in the hockey world while I was transitioning in my career just to like keep some sort of structure in my life that was familiar.
mhm. Of course. Was it when you transitioned to coaching? How was that for you? Was that passion still there? Was it a different type of passion?
I wasn't coaching games, so like I
Mhm,
wasn't, behind a bench or anything. I was just like on the ice training kids like in the summers. So I still do that actually now and I love it. It's so fun to just like be on the ice with kids and
yeah.
have like a little bit of a child come out in you.
Mhm,
Um, so I love that part of it, and it's fun to like actually teach like a 10-year-old something and then see them do it.
mhm,
So that's super rewarding. But I don't think I have it in me to like pursue coaching as a career. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of fun just to like work with kids and be involved and do that stuff for fun.
What kind of advice would you give to maybe a younger guy who, I went through this myself a little bit. When things weren't going my way on the rink, a lot of it was struggle. A lot of the struggle for me was, getting my body in a place to just be able to get through a whole game again, coming
Yeah.
off chemotherapy and that kind of game. So what
Yeah, I
kind of
mean, your
advice
your
would you
story is, I got nothing for that. That's all you, buddy. Dom, that is some serious strength that you got. I don't know how people can push through that. Like credit to you. I don't want to downplay that at all. Like man, like it's unbelievable. Your story is unbelievable, and I remember you telling it to me on the bench, and I like literally have thought about you a lot ever since I met you, and it's awesome that like I can't stress enough how awesome it is that you're doing this. But like I cannot speak to not understanding how my body works. You know,
Yeah, I
um,
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
yeah, seriously,
S
I have so much respect for that.
Thank you, man. But what kind of advice would you give to a kid who, feels like things aren't going his way and starts to lose their love for the game a little bit?
That I could speak to, because I hated hockey my senior year of college.
Yeah.
Like I was so done with it, but I was like, you know what? I'm a senior. This is it for me. Just got to enjoy it. And the experience I talked about at UMass, where I put so much pressure on myself every day, every drill. Like if I fucked up a drill, I was like, oh man, like if I don't do this right, I'm not going to get in the lineup. Like I got to make sure everything is crisp, everything is fast, everything is on the tape, all that stuff. And then my senior year, where I kind of like knew that like this was just about having fun now. Taking the pressure off yourself just makes you free, you know?
Yeah.
So if things aren't going well for you, like I know a lot of guys will say bear down and focus, almost like do the opposite, you know?
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
beat
that's what I
yourself up
found
if you
works
mess
for me
up.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, like don't beat yourself up if you mess up. Like you should be focused, but like don't over focus. And even in like interviews I do now, if I feel overly prepared, it's never a good thing. Like if you have certain topics that you want to make sure come out, it feels forced and it comes out as forced. So, like honestly, you shouldn't not be prepared, but like don't feel like you have to have all the answers or you know I guess be in full control. Like just it's true, like focus on the things you can control or whatever. But like I don't know, I think putting a lot of pressure on yourself can only do you harm as opposed to like getting good results.
Absolutely. Now, I have another hockey question for you. If you asked any of your teammates back in the day, like what kind of player is Johnny? Like
Huh.
what would they say? Are you a glue guy? Are you cracking heads? Are you a finisher?
I think you'd have to ask my junior teammates because that was probably where I was at my peak.
Yeah.
I'd say playmaker. I was definitely not a shoot first guy. I always got yelled at to shoot the puck. But it's
That's
weird.
what
Like I kind of, huh? You both pass first?
that's what I yell at the Rangers. Anytime I'm
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
the game,
exactly.
I'm yelling, "Shoot it!" Yeah,
Yeah. Like when people yell at Mika on a 2-on-1 to shoot the puck, I was
yeah.
just like Mika trying to make a pass. So I get it, but I didn't have this. I didn't have the shot that Mika has. So, yeah, like, that's kind of I think the player I was. I wasn't like the fastest, wasn't the strongest, but I think I had a good IQ for the game. You know, but physically, I think my college coaches would tell you that my feet were a little too heavy. I think that was the problem I ran into. But playmaker would probably be the thing they would say. At least that's what I would hope they'd say.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how have you been following the Olympics at all? USA
Not
men's
as much as
hockey
I'd
team?
like to, just because I've been on the road a little bit the last week. Like I missed most of the games Saturday and Friday because
Yeah.
I was traveling. But I watched the women's game against Sweden today. They dominated. I watched the USA game yesterday. I missed pretty much every game on Saturday, I'd say. But I'll be dialed in the rest of the way because now we're getting into like the meat of the tournament.
Yep.
Did Canada win today? The women? Did they play today?
I believe they did. I think they played last night.
Or did they? So we have
Yeah.
USA and Canada in the women's final?
I believe so. I believe that's the
I'm gonna look it up.
that's the matchup. We were actually was it Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday we went and watched the game and
The Denmark game?
Bull Smiths with Sean Avery. He was over there.
You were there? Oh, I saw that. I saw
Yeah.
that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to talk to him for a bit, which is cool and absolutely
He's
amazing
hilarious, right?
game. Oh yeah, he's hysterical.
Just looking this up. And then the men are Wednesday.
Yeah, the
They
men
play
are Wednesday.
Latvia or Sweden, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whoever wins, I think that game's tonight, the Latvia Sweden game.
Is it? I know. I think
Tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's tomorrow. Let me double check.
'Cause
Today was an off day, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, I think US got to buy into the quarters, I believe.
Yeah, that game is tomorrow at 3:00.
Okay.
Cool. Gotta dial in for that one.
How do we hope, and it's pretty likely that hopefully that gold medal game will, be US versus Canada, but just with both of the guys that you've seen on the rosters, like, don't get me wrong, I'm US till I die. I got the US roller hat on now, but that Canada roster, man, is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, they're sick. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, they are by far the favorite. I am concerned playing against Canada. I would not put my money on Team USA if I'm being fully transparent. It is one game. You would?
I would. Yeah, I'm a
you-
firm I am. I think that they're gonna pull it through and it's gonna be an upset.
Al's FanDuel account is negative.
I don't do any sports betting, but I like to go for the underdog. I think they're gonna pull through.
I was talking to my dad about it the other day. Like, you look at like the Canada roster and you just think of terms and players. They have the greatest player of like my young generation in Sidney Crosby, and then the greatest player of like my adult generation in Connor McDavid. And in my opinion, they have the greatest player of the next generation in Matt Celebrini. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Don't forget the defenseman too.
Yeah, like, you got Cale Makar on that roster too. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't, like you said, I don't even want to say it out loud, but that's a tough matchup.
Yeah, they're pretty
So
damn
we got
good.
2 against 1 here for this game.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, we're all pulling for the same rope here, but like, that Canada team is scary.
Especially after that, I have a little bit more faith now after watching the game on Saturday, because even going into game 1, like, I had such a hard time when they named Austin Matthews the captain over like either of the Kachuk brothers. Like, no discredit to Austin Matthews, but like, I feel like going into this Olympics, when you think of Team USA, you're thinking of that 4 Nations game, of those 3 back-to-backs, Kachuk brothers. And honestly, I feel like Matthews also might thrive when he has room to, kind of do his thing, and there's not, some guys like absolutely thrive under the pressure. Not necessarily the pressure, but the pressure of having the C on their jersey. And that's kind of how I felt when I watched that first game. But I mean, after watching this last game, dude, he mucked it up. I think he had 2 goals.
Yeah,
he was in front of the net. He was throwing bodies, so that gives me a little bit of hope. But
we'll see. I mean, like you said, Jack Eichel, I think the world of. Matthews obviously gets a lot of criticism, which you can say is warranted at times, but probably not as much as he gets. But those top guys on Canada are just a different level.
Unfortunately. Yeah. All right. I'm going to put you on the spot here. We like to do a segment in the podcast every week called Quote of the Week. So it could be a positive quote, negative quote, inspiration, just anything off the top of your dome.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the one that I try to live by. Good thoughts make good things happen. Kind of goes along with your message. Anything you do, if you go in thinking it's going to be great, you already have a chance it's going to be good. If you go in thinking it's going to suck, chances are it's going to suck. So what you tell yourself goes a long way. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And listen, I have to remind myself a lot of times, but that is something I've always like had at the top of my mind is good thoughts make good things happen.
Like it.
Absolutely. Do you have one?
You're up. I got to think for a second.
Yeah, think about it.
I do.
Which one haven't I said on? I have so many. Oh my God. It's not really a quote, but it's something my dad actually taught me and showed me going into my 2nd round of chemotherapy. I'd never heard of it up until this point. So I was probably
what is it?
I was probably like 13 years old. The Serenity Prayer. So, how does it go? It goes, God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, but most importantly, the wisdom to know the difference between the two.
That's good.
Yeah. So I think it, it kind of speaks to, what we talk about at Better Days. Show up, right? Like, do what you can when you can and cut out the rest of the noise that, you can't. So that's my quote. What about you?
Yeah, no, it's great.
I don't know if mine's an actual quote, but something I made up, I guess. And I talked
better
a little
that
bit
way.
Yeah, I talked a little about it last
This
episode.
is an original, huh?
It is, yeah, but I ran the New York City Marathon 2 years ago. And I ran it for the hospital for special surgery. So I raised money for them. I had a few operations there, but when I was training for the marathon, I always did whatever I was supposed to do that day. Say it was 10 miles, I would do 10.2. And then say the next week was like 5, I do 5.2 because a marathon is 26.2 miles. So whatever I do in my life, I always try to do it with like 0.2 extra. So like 0.2 extra effort.
That is good.
Yeah. And no matter what it is, I'm always like, give me 0.2 more. And it could be as simple as like towards your job, like towards an interview you're doing, like put 0.2 more into it. So
You should like make a commercial for the marathon.
I should, right?
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, or put it on a shirt. But yeah, I always
Well, NIL deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it
0.2 more.
motivates me. And it sounds crazy because it's just 0.2, but every time training I did that. And then the day of the marathon, I was like, you've done 0.2 so many times, and it helps me through. So something I live by now.
That is
Yeah.
both of you guys really good things.
Yeah, thank you.
That 0.2 I've never heard before either. I never even like really thought of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Good.
You couldn't pay me to run that marathon.
No, not me.
I'm not built for that.
Not even close. I could skate. I could get by on wheels. But we went in. A few of my buddies went into the city to like watch her because one of my other buddies' girlfriends was also running it. So like we went into the city, and honestly, I've never told you this before, but we were on the train, and our other buddy actually met us on the train. There was a Saturday Ranger game at like 1:00.
Oh, this
And,
is a
like-
Ranger Islander game?
I don't know. It might have been.
I think I kind of remember that. Sorry, keep going.
And like the urge, those pre-game banquets on the train were just calling for me to drop money on the Ranger tickets the day your marathon.
That's
I didn't. But besides the point,
Yeah.
like we got off the train and like we tried to get like to where she was gonna be. Dude, we maybe walked like 3-4 miles to get to where she was gonna be, and we were absolutely cooked tired by the time we got there. So I have no idea how you ran a marathon. That's ridiculous. But
I would do it again. It was the best day of my life.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. It's like the best drug ever, right?
Mhm.
I'm sure if you could do it, it's awesome.
Yeah, the city is just like everyone's out there. It's like screaming your name, strangers. So you feel like a celebrity or someone famous.
It is a
So-
great day. It is a great day.
It was a good time with like all the people around
Yeah.
and stuff. It was cool.
Have you ever been there for it since you live in the city?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a bunch of my friends have ran it.
Mhm.
It's an awesome day. It's an awesome day. I get exhausted watching it.
Yeah, right?
I don't know how people do it.
Well, maybe he'll run it next. One of you two.
Never.
No, absolutely not.
Ain't gonna be me.
Absolutely.
You're dumb.
No,
No.
it's not a chance, dude. Not a chance.
I'll just do it
Mhm.
again for the both of you.
I don't
Yeah,
even play
I'll
deck
take that one.
hockey. I don't even play deck hockey anymore because I don't want to run.
How are you a midfielder in soccer and now saying you don't like to run?
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about before. Like once I went into chemo, destroyed my body, got out, I felt like I wasn't what I was. So I just totally like tuned all of it out, to be honest.
Sounds like
with
an excuse.
It does.
you. It is an excuse.
Yeah.
It is an excuse. You're right. You're right. It is.
No excuses. That's my next quote.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Oh, well,
All right, Johnny. Well, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for coming on here. Love that you got the hat on. Love
Yeah.
everything you had to say. And that's kind of our goal with this podcast. We're trying to, inspire people, but also be realistic in the fact that, life is hard, life sucks at times, and there's something to be said for that. And I think in recognizing that comes a little bit of power and just doing your thing, right? Find what it is you love and chase that. And it seems like you embody that 100%.
Thank you guys. Appreciate your time, Dom, Al. If you're ever at the Garden, let me know. I always try to see people and mingle in between periods. So
Yeah,
Don't be shy.
absolutely. I'll shoot you a text. We'll be there soon.
Yeah. Sounds good.
if you see Matt Rempe, tell him to look for my comments on Instagram.
I will. Well, what you should do next game you're at, try to get into the Garden like doors open at 6 for a 7:00 game. Get there at 6. Go right down behind the Rangers bench. You'll see him listening to his music on the bench. He'll walk right by you. You can talk to him and tell him yourself.
Okay. I
Oh,
will.
man.
I will. Oh,
That's his pregame
Okay.
routine. He's always in the bench.
You got to give us all the inside scoops
Yeah.
on where we could catch the players.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
got you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you on as our first guest.
Thank you both. It was an honor. And whatever you need, let me know, all right?
Appreciate you, Johnny.
All right. Bye.
Bye.